back, everybody, to Proving Grounds as we take a look back at game number 1 between Dignitas Academy and EGP, Dimitri. I gotta say, a very one-sided affair.
Yeah, it was all Dignitas all of the time. JJ and the Braum ended up putting up a ton of utility for this game. And when you look at this, EGP, they needed to be able to get the ball rolling pretty early on. They needed to find proactive picks with Shiro, with Nidalee, try to find one member off from Dignitas in a bad position and kill them, but they never quite found their mark. They never quite found the kill, got that killer instinct in there to try and kill someone, and ended up slowly being bled out of the game, like we said. I look at this and I'm thinking, okay, we got to see a little bit more aggressive bot lane for them, but now, coming into this second game, what is EGP's answer to this draft? Are they going to start banning away Yasui, maybe the Aurelia as a pick, or do you start to see Surdy maybe, get a little bit spicy with some of his carry picks?
Right, it'll all depend on what EGP and Dignitas decide to prioritize, man. Considering EGP have managed to pick blue side going into this next game, right? It is definitely like one of the games where you gotta just go into a bit. You know what? Shake it off, guys. It was a little bit rough back and forth, but I go into this one too. I'm sure they'll be able to bounce back like they have in many different games before, right? Like I was saying before, right? For EGP as of right now, I imagine they'll definitely prioritize junglers for the B1 pick because we want to see Tomio get on the map a lot more. We want to see a lot more presence from him.
Yeah, it almost felt like Tomio, quiet as a mouse. Really couldn't do much all in that game, right? Again, he doesn't have good access into the river. You have the top side who's a little bit weaker. You have Aspect who's getting currently just run down by jungle and mid of Dignitas, and bot lane was not as ahead as maybe we would have expected for them. As right now, he needs to have some kind of priority. He needs to somehow be able to say, hey, guys, I'm moving into the river. You need to come over to me. You need to help me get the scuttle, help me provide vision so I can take control of this game and, set up some of our lanes. So like you were saying, blue side for EGP means I'm looking at them to try and prioritize getting a really nice jungler for themselves. But other than that, I'm willing to be surprised, especially with how many different things EGP can kind of dip into. Dignitas Academy, same thing for them. Who are they counterpicking for? Yasui had a fantastic performance on this last game, and I think out of anybody, the mid and top laners are who I'm looking at to see for this red side draft.
Yeah, because you saw before that Dignitas was consistently able to maintain control of both of those lanes throughout the entire game, getting strong side picks, and and Tomio just not able to get on the map. And I gotta say, man, but as a jungler, getting double crab like so early on, like that like hits you right here. You're thinking like, so now what do I do, right? What am I able to do at this point?
It's gotta hurt. It's gotta hurt a little bit. The double crab is not as bad as getting a dragon and a Rift Herald for the enemy team. You're like, this is pain territory. I'm entering straight up pain. This is gonna hurt a little bit. But when I look at this again, Tomio, I think, still had an okay job. Dignitas just kind of taking it to them and being that aggressive early game team that we were expecting. So coming into game 2, we see this draft and kind of finishing off, are Evil Geniuses going to have that counterpunch ready and take us to a game 3, or Dignitas going to take one of their first 2-0s after a close one versus Wildcard?
No, exactly so, because we see that both these teams did play full on 2-1s, right? Like taking it to 3 games for each one series that they played before. I'll definitely be looking at EGP to possibly bring this back. But one big point you raised before here, Dimitri, was that if nameplate's off looking at that previous game, that looked like an EGP game. That looked like how they like to play, like so very uncharacteristic of them previously, unfortunately. Because Dignitas just, I don't even want to say it was just like control of the map. It just seemed like they were able to kind of just prance around and do what they wanted to do. EGP was like, hey, you can't do that. And Katie was like, are you sure? They were like, no.
No, I understand. I say that in playstyle alone. There was a few champions that I don't think EGP have quite really shown from us quite yet. Like Tomio on Lilia has not been super popular for them. Aspect on Lucian, same thing. I just love how proactive we saw Dignitas. And for the side of EGP, a couple things that I want to see fixed. We already said it. I'm not going to repeat it. Jungler pick. You got to get this guy on something really, really active. And bot lane, what exactly is their answer to maybe something like a Varus once we see all these other AD carries banned? Because the Ashe needed to be that they needed to find those picks. They weren't quite finding them. Do they change anything up? Maybe they go for a different support pick. Maybe they find someone who can be a little bit more slippery. Something maybe like a Rakan. I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening. I see this and I'm like, man, EGP. What happened? It might have just been game one jitters. It could happen. I have full faith, but this was definitely when you look at this academy versus amateur stuff, that was pretty one-sided this time around.
One thing too was you mentioned, right, about the pick about Spawn, right, just being able to have agency. Let's not forget the Spawn was able to actually roam out of his lane, not the support, and go in, punish Aspect for just being just a little bit outside of his turn, flashes over Chain of Corruption, and they were able to table that so well with Yusui. It was insane to me. That's the first time I'm seeing like an ADC roam. I just be like, yo, don't worry, man. Yo, forget my Braum. I got you.
I mean, Braum was roaming too. JJ was doing a great job, just kind of roaming across the map. It was really how effective were some of these roam timers, right? Because we saw Mist constantly move topside, tried to put down Vision, tried to move with Tomio, but the effectiveness, the payback that they got for that, the reward, not quite as sweet as when you looked on Dignitas, where they were able to get the kills onto Aspect. They were constantly finding a lot of pressure onto Surdy, trying to stop some of these ganks. And if they want to be able to do stuff, they need to be able to turn these actions into, quantifiable results. They need to be able to not only turn these plays into something that is intangible, into maybe a gold lead, maybe just pressuring Lorlo off of a wave, maybe even getting Yusui to back off, even if it's just a summoner differential. They need to actually make the play happen. Because a lot of times they would show up and have to back out as there was maybe too many members from Dignitas already there.
And I do want to yet again retract my statement about a Lorlo champion.
Yeah, Lorlo champion. Come on, man. You need to apologize to this guy.
I'm sorry, man. I could not have been more wrong. I was thinking like, man, Lorlo has his comfort picks. He's look good on him. You probably want to play him. Nah, bro. You really showed up picking up the Aurelia. Sorry, I take everything back. You're absolutely fantastic. Because looking at that matchup too, right, we knew it'd be favorable for him, Dimitri, and even without really any overall dive setup, right, Surdy consistently has to play back, and yet again, not able to have much impact across the map to Lurlo as well, though, being able to pull so far ahead, getting Bork like by what, like 10 minutes? It was beautiful from him.
Again, it was a slower early game, right? We saw that constantly. They were just trading waves back and forth. A lot of early backs coming out from Dignitas meant that they could try to at least force something. And then it just took one punishment onto Surdy, where they TP behind him, they get the kill, and suddenly that matchup blows up in EGP's face. It is so dangerous in that point. So Lorlo executing really well on the Aurelia, and once she got snowballing, just kind of kept going. She wasn't able to find too many kills afterwards, as constantly it felt like the jungle and mid laner for Dignitas were taking control of the game, but still, Lorlo, excellent performance on the Aurelia, and glad to see that you guys still got the carry still in you. You're not just, hey boss, hey invert, sign me up for Scion Jail. I will gladly play this champion. Send me in, coach.
Making sure that you and the tower are best friends as always. Just trying to farm up as long as you can with your autos, to which I gotta say, man, I can relate. Being weak side for as long as I have been, Dimitri, it's me and the tower have been like this ever since season 4, when I hopped at the top of it and decided, no, actually, I do not want to see the other side of the lane, right? Let me just stick on Maokai, Malphite, Scion, even just pain across the board.
I'm sure Lorlo did not have. I mean, like, he could have some fun playing on Nara. There's still skill expression on tanks, which I personally still love. But tanks, man, as a marksman player myself, it is every time I see a tank, every time I see a Scion, it is just like, oh man, not a big fan. Coming back to this game though, Ravish, we're in game 2 now of the series, EGP. I think a lot of people coming into this match would have thought this would have been a one-sided series for the Prodigies, who have been looking rather dominant in their run through amateur and going up against other academy teams. But already Dignitas trying to at least put a stamp on that and say, hey, but the buck stops here.
Yeah, because going all the way back to, I believe, just around Giant Slayer 2, going last time's qualifier, even with the arena, right? They've taken down almost 4 different academy teams, like individually. So, like, even with this now as well, will they be able to rise to the challenge, take down Dig A or Dig A2 on the other end? They have had a bit of a bumpy road coming in from North Arena as well. They look kind of back and forth, but now coming into this, right, although it wasn't as explosive as you might have seen from them, control and macro that they showed was absolutely immaculate, and a lot of what we want to see will come down to the picks and when we get into draft, which will be very, very soon. Now, Dimitri, before we do that, let me go and ask you a quick question, right?
Okay.
Because I want to set things up here. Considering how slow things was before, I want to ask you, who gets first blooded and by who? Let me hear your prediction, and I'm going to hold you to this.
Surdy. Surdy gets first blood. He gets first blood. He's gonna kill Lorlo. They're gonna set him up this game. I have a feeling they're gonna do it. They're gonna get this man some kind of carry pick, whether it's his Camille if it's not banned, although I don't think that's gonna happen. Gnar isn't very punished, so I think that if there's any kind of potential there, it's gonna be Surdy. Maybe Aspect, but I'm assuming that first blood for Yasui was simply just Aspect. That was just an off game. I think out of 100 games, that doesn't happen more than 50.
Nah, definitely not, as I believe I'm being informed we'll be heading into draft in just a couple more seconds. So, Dimitri, all of our dreams will finally be revitalized. And definitely so that B1 pick is going to make or break the difference for me, as ability the Thresh is taken off the board, right? We've seen Thresh be such a priority pick for so many of these supports. Definitely one of the best supports of the game right now, be both engaging and disengaging alongside Rel. And I'm going to say, I think Leona is still definitely up there, although she hasn't been priority. I think she's still fantastic if you're looking for engaged compositions.
Yeah, I mean, but why would I want to play Rel when I can play, or why would I want to play Leona when I can play Rel? She's so awesome. I get to play better Leona. I mean, very similar themes. You go in, you have an ultimate that stops people. You're strong. You're a strong woman. I love everything about it. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't just go for Rel. And you were saying it. I mean, Thresh being taken away just means that things like Jinx and Ophelia start to fall a little bit further back. It also just provides for that Rel counter. I still am wondering, where is Gragas? Because Gragas has suddenly disappeared from this draft mystically. Maybe there was a little bit of a spell cast on the team saying Gragas has been removed from the patch. But but I wonder, because it is still another answer for Rel if we're going to see her in this game.
So far, though, no bans we targeted toward either supports, but now at least EGP taking off Yusui's Lucian. We saw how good he was previously, being able to. I'm going to see run over any of EGP, but just maintaining such solid mid lane control, able to impact the map across the board as soon as he could, getting fresh turret from stuff as well, and giving Katie so much agency just around the top side. But now EGP look to respond as Udir's taken away too, and they will run it back inside this time. They get the Lilia first pick.
Okay, they get the Lilia, and this already signals to me that more than likely EGP are just going to try and set up Lilia for success. You have Aspect, who can play Set, who's done a fantastic job on this. Camille is still available if they want to try and go for this, a very deadly and potent top jungle duo. As Dignitas, they're going to take themselves the Nidalee, someone that's been kind of climbing, as they're going to actually, Acadian, bring it out. Okay, there we go. We got the Lilia matchup. We got Kane, who's going to be hunting for some deer in the jungle tonight.
Oh, this is so much fun. We saw Kane just yesterday too, and although the full potential of it didn't come to fruition in that Fly CLG series, man, you saw just how much damage he was able to put out once he was able to get to 2 items, right? And now it remains on to Katie what you might want to pick up, and they'll pick up the Alistar power pick for themselves this time.
Awesome. And the Kane, very early on. I wonder what EG are going to do to answer this, because you could just pick a bunch of melee beefy boys and make Kane very, very sad. Maybe some champions with some targeted crowd control. That could be a potential answer. But EG, they have they have a lot of kind of questions that need to be answered. Camille finally coming out for Surdy. We were talking about this earlier when we were setting it up for these guys. And Aspect on his Galio. Oh my god, this is an absolute treat. We get to watch some of the best of the best. I mean, Surdy, we already talked about it, but Aspect has been playing so many games of Galio. It went away for a little bit, but I've been waiting for the return, and I'm glad to see it here.
And there might definitely be the Gragas pick that you were speaking about before, Dimitri. There is no Wingardium Leviosa for them. He's not been taken out of the draft. They plant him down as well as a nice response for all the engages coming out from EGP. I think, this is such a good matchup for Lolo if we decide to take the Gragas top. Gragas into Camille is absolutely smurf, and you can even go AP if you feel so inclined and so brazen, but I doubt he will.
Yeah, and now for the side of ED Prodigies and for Dignitas, mid lane starts to become a huge priority. When you look at EG, they can start to get rid of AD carries. They can also start to just get rid of that mid lane pool. Orianna still on the table. It looks like they're just going to, maybe they try to trade a couple bans with Shira's Kaisa possibly still on the table here. I wonder what Spawn is going to first pick here. I mean, maybe it's yet again another Varus game, but if we're seeing time and time again them go for this, I think this is going to be a very dangerous matchup. Maybe they go for a close range ADC and EG try to bait them in with this Galio, potentially even going support.
Right, definitely still all the possibilities remain on the board. You see as well, right? You could definitely see this Gragas going down bot side too, considering on what to decide to pick as the final.
I don't think it's going bot. They got an Alistar, man. They got an Alistar. I don't think Gragas is going down there. That's just me.
Whoa. Look. I know what you're saying, Dimitri, but hear me out here, right? If you want to dream, and in a world far, far away, if you go all the way back to season 1, Acadian could have definitely got All-Star Jungle, but yeah, you're right. This is definitely not going to support.
I was going to ask the producers to give me your audio at like negative 10% so I don't have to hear that again. I'm good. I don't want to hear that again. I'll be honest. I'll be 100% honest with that one. But
that's okay, man.
We're talking about the priorities here, and Spawn playing one of his favorite champions, Kaisa Tristana. Kaisa here, and now Shiro gonna have to come up with a different answer. Still Varus on the table, so if they want to go for early lane, Ashe is still an okay answer here, but this will start to solidify what we see from EG Prodigies.
Like you mentioned, like your Varus, another fantastic part of what you saw before, actually abused by Dig Academy with how well they played it. But the Callista pick is one that we've seen Shiro pull out time and time again, especially into the pick of Kaisa too. He feels very comfortable in this matchup. We've seen him do quite well in this matchup too. So this already signals to me that there's going to be a lot of top side focus for Tomio.
Yeah. And you take a look at this, they have so many ways to engage, right? You have a Callista who can throw you in. You have Camille and a Galio as a really easy setup for any kind of fights. And now with Orianna, it feels like you just send in the ball delivery system and boom, you've got a free shockwave onto the short range of Dignitas. They're going to need some way to either strong arm them away from objectives or maybe another poke mage. I wonder what Yusui is going to pull out here. He can pick a lot of different kind of picks here. He's going to be going into the Orianna. I'm going to hold out because we haven't seen too much LeBlanc this season, but this Dignitas Academy roster is going to need some kind of range, and it looks like the answer for them is going to be the Ahri.
Okay. All right. We saw the Ahri yesterday to get in the same Fly CLG series, although it didn't do too hot, though. I don't mind this answer at all. I can understand the reason behind the Ahri. She does have a lot of agency in lane. Like she's pretty decent into Orianna, and plus, like, she's like kind of assassin, but not really, especially with the Spirit Rush. So a lot of good movement speed from her. I'm gonna be paying a lot of attention towards how the mid lane matchup goes. Right, we were highlighting a lot of that bot lane matchup before. We were setting up this series, but this Ahri for me should be a ton of fun.
Are you having a lot of fun with just mages that just shove the wave permanently? I mean, Ahri, she throws out her Q, boom, the wave is gone. Orianna throws out her Q and a W, maybe she calls it back with the protect, boom, the wave is gone. Can kind of put down a lot of mana to try and clear these waves. I'm personally looking at Surdy. He's got the Ignite TP Camille, and everybody has been huge criticizers of any Camille that takes Ignite, whether it be LCS, an Academy, it doesn't matter. As soon as you pick that up, you are throwing down the gauntlet and you are saying, I'm looking to smash lane. And that does mean that Acadian has a pretty good target to put onto Surdy. If he goes top lane, You just kill the Camille with Lorlo. If they can lock them down with the early damage of Gragas, I think it's possible. But this just means that the top side here for EGP, they're playing for Surdy in their objectives, and then they're looking for Shiro and Miss to take control of the bot side that they can move over and really start to take over the Drakes.
And on the other side for Zik Academy, right, Acadian is going to be one of the big players for me. Because as soon as he's able to actually get that blue form, that blue king should be able to tear through the health bars of any of EGP's very, very low health bars. Like, so not the tank ladder that you wanted to see, Dimitri, but at least now if Acadian has the same sort of agency in lane, I'd be very afraid for EGP. But on the other, like you mentioned, Surdy is going to be the player for me to watch. If he can just like smash Lorlo and then just run over everybody else, EGP can easily come back into this.
Yeah, they have a much easier time. Again, this is all yet again going to be predicated on what happens mid lane. Aspect needs to kind of hold his own against Yasui, because if not, the bot lane priority of Shiro is not going to matter if the mid lane falls apart. It is going to be on Tomio yet again. Needs to be active in the early game. Even with this Lilia, the Kayn is going to have a lot of damage. So link up with Aspect. Show us some of that jungle synergy you've been building up. As EGP and Dignitas, 1-0 for Dignitas Academy in the series, and they're looking to close out on a swift 2-0 here.
I do want to remind everybody, and I do want to remind you as well, Dimitri, that you did pick out that Surdy would be the first kill. Surdy would get first.
He has Ignite
onto Lorlo. So yeah, so I mean, clearly you're making some smart bets already. I gotta see. I'm almost inclined to agree with you. I won't put in my bias as of yet. As you see, both junglers starting off on the top side too. So clearly, yet again, setting up for the top lane focus. And Acadian responding well to it, to probably predicting that Tommy will try to do so. This is going to be a lot of fun too. So once they're able to hit level 3, but now just some standard starts for everybody else.
Yeah, right now, if anybody at home, if you're wondering, what is this Lilia path currently? You're doing the smaller camps, one, because Lilia just does them faster and she can heal them much healthier. It also means that when you start this red buff, you'll have it for a little bit longer, as well as you'll be a little bit healthier as you go into your other camps. You'll be level 3, and you'll be very, very healthy as you go into the opposite side of the map. Acadian, however, already finishing his camps a little bit early, so we'll have to see what the repercussions of this are. If Acadian's able to get the first gank off by maybe 5-10 seconds, it's going to be because we'll see paths like this where Tomio is still doing red while Raptors have been started for Kayn.
Kayn getting a little bit ahead of the curve already, like you mentioned. Right now, Surdy does have the top lane pushing in.
Oh, he's going for it.
Rate. Acadian is already here. Considering they have a pretty wave stacking against them, the Surdy has to try to get away, immediately hook shots, and into the other bush he goes.
Yeah, no body slam there. Lands onto the minion, so not able to stun out onto Surdy. And so that means not much going on. They'll see that Acadian has gone there, and now the pit stop that he has made has really stopped this little bit of trading in bot lane, as Shiro takes a ton of damage. Same thing with Yasui in the opposite side, but because of the pit stop that Acadian has made here, Tomio's been allowed to catch up, and with this priority coming out from Aspect, if he wants, he can freeze the lane. If not, he just walks into the jungle, he walks into the river and helps his jungler out, finishing this Raptor.
Okay, looking at Tomio right now too, considering how Acadian is on his red too, he should be able to get top crab, and if he decides to path bot lane to instead of backing, he could possibly double crab Acadian, taking
look at the
revenge.
Sorry, I want to pull them over. I just want to pull them over because Mist and Shiro are already moving. They've done the crab for their jungler. Really big kudos off to Shiro and Mist. If your jungler is there, I'll hold that. Going right on to Surdy.
32's already used hook shot too, gets a little bit of the shield, gets knocked off. One more auto should be able to do
Flash.
it. Acadian flashes for a really good trade of tower shots.
Yeah, they have to blow both of their flashes there, so potentially another dangerous lane if Surdy goes for it in the next 4 to 5 minutes, but already looking to put them behind. A flash body slam from Lorlo. Acadian in position, stops the hook shot here, and with no flash means that you're just that much easier to gank. Does involve both of their summoner spells like we said, but a good start there for Dignitas and their top laner. I got it wrong. I messed up the bet. I technically was right that Surdy will be a part of the first blood, but it was just on the wrong side of history.
Tragically so, my young Dimitri. See, this is why I make smart bets. I didn't say anything, so that way I was not the wrong.
Oh,
No,
come
right.
on, man.
Remaining true neutral across the board, but I respect the attempt from you as well. But now,
If you got
at
skin
least,
in the game, if you got skin in the game, you stay in the game. That's all I'm gonna say.
you're right. You're right. You're right. But going back a bit onto this game, though, right? Considering Acadian already creating the early agency we've seen from before in the first game, having so much impact across the map. And we were talking about the matchup before. We've seen Lorlo into Surdy, right? Gragas is such a good matchup with this Camille. We've seen Surdy playing this Gasher time and time again, as they might be setting up something bot side. JJ is here. There's potentially something, but no, they're just bushwhacking, looking for any snakes.
They're waiting because they see Tomio here. If Spawn steps up even a little bit, he has to know that they're here. Stepping up, this is it right here. Step right into a flash from Mist.
Oh, he immediately knocked out two stars. A lot of damage. Wins the war. Gonna be able to take him down. Cheryl getting one out of the board. Now JJ2 taking a ton of damage. Has to flash out of the swirl seed to stay alive. But really good setup from EGP.
And I will say, EGP, they wait a long time for that, and so they will have access to this Drake first. See Acadian already moving into his top side, just saying, it's a lost cause, we're just going to go ahead and trade. But they used a ton of summoners in that trade. Mist no longer has Flash and Ignite, and Shiro had to flash out of that. So spending a lot just to get a kill and a Drake, we'll see how much that's worth for EGP as the game continues. But setting themselves off to a little bit of an early lead here in the game.
But now, at least with that bot side dive, they really get the dragon and the crab yet again, bro. Tommy was actually taking 3 out of 4 crabs in the spawn so far. I'll be checking this too, because look, like with this for me, like I know that this is what completely sets me off. Like because not only is it vision, it just feels bad. Because when you're expecting something, you open the door and suddenly it's gone. You're like, well then, sorry, I guess I won anyways, Dimitri. But
I mean, I'm looking at this right now, and Acadian just ravaged his top side. He said, you're doing Drake? Well, cool. I'm going to make you pay for it. I'm going to take your Wolves. I'm going to take your Gromp. Tomio says, okay, the Wolves aren't here. This guy just takes my whole jungle. I'm just going to leave. There's nothing here for me. And now Acadian gets to have a little bit of a really nice kind of setup for himself where he gets to go bot, take his camps, cycle them once more, and potentially look for yet another top play. We see now that EGP are playing and leaning towards this Rift Herald. Aspect clearing out the river. We saw Surdy come down, tried to see whether or not Acadian was on the Raptor pit, and we'll see what happens with this, as maybe Aspect is trying to make this play onto Lorlo, maybe try to go for a dive into the turret, but they'll see him on the ward here. Ooh, this might be dangerous.
yeah, Lorlo knows this is coming as well. He doesn't have flash, but he does have ultimate as well. So we'll get any early setup the ball, looking for any possible vision to see if Acadian was there. But no, Aspect is going to roam down bot side. But looking at this as well, right? Because you saw how both the mid and top lane.
Oh, we're doing this again.
And the top, JJ is gone.
TP.
Spot is here too. TP, like you mentioned, to get the knock up as well. And Spot is just dead. Missed able to get out alive. As get over to Tomio, Surdy TPing down as well. Immediately onto Acadian, used the onboard trespass, but not enough damage. A double kill for Tomio.
Oh, and there we go. That's the aggression coming out from EGP. They say, hey, we know JJ doesn't have flash. We might as well as... Oh, Tomio, no! Oh, okay, you know, it happens. We take those. It doesn't matter. It was an execute. The turret is the 6th member of the Dignitas roster right there.
Yeah. Fast reset, yeah.
Yeah, well, exactly. Fast reset, get a fast back. But we'll see what happens here as they set this play up. Watch this. So Camille the entire time has set up the top wave. And while the exhaust goes on to Shiro, it doesn't end up mattering. And watch where Acadian is. I wonder if he's trying to find something. He sticks a little bit too long. And Surdy, even without flash, makes the long-range engage onto Acadian. The command, man, the Hextech protocol, so dangerous. And the Ignite just ticking away. Doesn't matter if you have that Umbral Trespass, like you said. Tommy able to pick up a double kill there, but still, they're trying super hard to get this bot lane ahead. Kalista already 1-2, and if we bring up the gold, I wonder what's going to happen. I might have to hold that as this entire time, Dignitas are just taking the Rift Herald, and EGP cannot answer for it.
Yeah, they're just not there to Dignitas, at least give it a little bit more agency. And as Acadian comes back, they decide to respond at least with one more thing on the map, right? Because this was the early game we wanted to see out of Evil Genius's Prodigies, Dimitri.
Yeah.
We wanted to see Tomio take a lot more agency. We wanted to see Sturdy have pushing lanes. And we wanted to see Aspect at least roam around the map and help out Shiro. And with them doing exactly that, already this game is going a lot better for EGP. We've also got like a lot more kills already too that we did before.
And look at this, they've already made the rotation, right? They said, hey, like bot lane, you've died twice now, so let's just move you up. Let's just get you out of this lane as long as possible. Lorlo, however, trying and at least soak some of this wave, but with Mist and Tomio there, incredibly difficult. They're going to go on to Surdy here.
But they get the knockup too. He's under tower. One more tower shot might actually get down JJ, but he's probably gonna stop.
Oh no!
Hey, RCL stays tanky, stays alive. They gifted over to spawn.
Aftershock comes on through. The unbreakable will from JJ means that they will not find the kill on the opposite side. So both top laners suffering a little bit here. And to try and get Spawn back in the lead, or at least up to par versus Shiro, they're going to drop the first Rift Herald, and they'll get the first turret versus Callista. A huge kind of, I guess, a great play for Dignitas, but a massive mistake for EGP with their top laner going down.
This Rift Herald 2 also will get a second charge as well, so already now South Tower a little bit is looking really threatened as well. Now with this too, with this swing, this actually does put the gold a little bit back in Dignitas' favor, as just that EGP able to take it back with their farm, unfortunately.
But the thing is like they want that gold on Callista, right? Like you want to have this Callista ahead. You don't want her to have to get into a late game scenario versus Kayn and versus Ahri. It's so difficult. So that first turret, actually, I mean, it won't have as much of an impact potentially, but this does mean that they are missing a little bit of gold that maybe they were expecting to have on the Shiro. Not game breaking, but we'll see what happens. Dignitas, they're on the opposite side of the river. They're going to look for something on the Aspect here.
He might be in trouble. The Mist gets a 3-man taunt. You see, he has to go with Warbeardy. So Spirit Rush pops in, but now look at the backside. Tomio to put up so much damage. Was Shiro to staying alive?
Oh, Shiro!
Goes to cast back into the team, but Hero's entrance will keep him alive. Another taunt, another 4 people caught up too. Now with this as well. So he's trying to put out damage, but he just cannot get into the fight, Dimitri. Shiro as well has to back away as they're looking for the Dragon for Dig.
Yeah, they might even try to go for one more kill right onto Surdy. Pop the Blast Cone. He gets the hook shot over the wall. And the Dragon, like you said, is secured almost assuredly for the side of Dignitas. Maybe Tomio goes for a Flash Steal, but no need. Maybe trying to get some Dream Dust onto it just to try and steal something. They might make a re-engage here, but they're just bullying him, saying, hey, no more. We'll watch back on this play. So Surdy doesn't have hookshot for the beginning of this play right here because he's trying to get away from the top side. They will spend a little bit of this, and this is looking good for the start of EGP. A 2-man taunt here, allowing Shiro to do so much damage, but Dignitas get Acadian into that backline, and with Aspect gone, the Shockwave still up, and now displacing Shiro. EGP are on the back foot this entire fight. Some of their CC not quite landing. You see a 2-man sleep, but there's just not enough members here. All 5 of Dignitas are still up and relatively healthy. And they're not able to get out of this, and they're not able to kind of take control of this fight, get the kills that they needed. As Dignitas going to shoot forward, shoot ahead in the gold, and looking to continue to be very dominant. The goal is actually still even between these two, but all the while, Dignitas are winning these fights.
Dignitas was a really solid engage, and didn't want to point out, right, like Surdy just was not able to really get into that fight at all, even though Mist was such good setups, getting almost 2, 3, 4-man taunts. Fortunately, as of yet, because Shiro is at that point where he just cannot tear through all the health bars, and like you mentioned before, like Surdy not being able to really assassinate any other target. Now Dig, with the back of the game, will look for a lane swap to pressure these sideways, at least as Lorlo has roamed down to the bot side. We'll see, likely will EGP will respond the exact same way as actually Tomio's here. Not going to spot anybody as of yet, as they're the exact same.
Yeah, JJ will see him. They will see Mist at least because of the sweepers. They'll say, okay, someone's at least here. We don't know how many people, but coming back to lanes right now, just take a look at where they are. I mean, Aspect and Yasui are still even, but a level lead is growing, and now with Yasui, he's able to have the first move onto this bot side, and taking away the Raptor Pit from Tomio is super dangerous. They actually won't even see him, just an unfortunate timing on where they are, but they're trying to make this play onto Surdy with no flash. You can see already, he's really far back. He's like, guys, please. Going on to Tomio.
Miss also at the backside, but he knows he cannot get into the fight, and Tomio's gone. Oh, Tomio, goodbye, Tomio.
Oh, this might even say goodbye to Surdy. He's super low.
Ooh, pops the Hectic ultimatum, but yeah, it was only invulnerable for a second, Dimitri, and a second is all he gets to watch his life flash away for precise. That's 2 picks well for Dignitas.
And this is just EGP trying to roam, or maybe they don't have priority. You have Shiro and Mist going towards your top side. You have Aspect still in mid lane, but not able to quite move as fast as Yasui. They're just face-checking Fog, and they think, okay, well, maybe it's just Alistar. You have to assume, well, we don't see anybody else on the map. We'll see this. Look at the toggle on the Fog here. They only see that it's 2, and then all of a sudden, Yasui and Acadian come out of a Fog of War, and he's like, oh god, it's time to run. And look at Surdy. He immediately moves to try and cut this wave, but way too aggressive on his timing here. Again, with no flash, just means that he's going to go down. The Hextech ultimatum comes out, but way too greedy from some of the members of EGP, and Tomio and Surdy, they are down significantly. Surdy's 0-3-1. He's finished the Triforce, but not quite in that advantage that maybe we would have expected, considering you have such an aggressive lane such as Ignite.
Exactly, because now with the Triforce especially built for him too, he needs to be the side lane threat, which you know Surdy can be before. Yep. We've seen this happen a lot, right? Where although Dignitas will now look for a lot more team fights, we've seen them moving as a unit. Surdy will continue to consistently pressure any side lane they have an advantage in, and Lorlo will be able to match him though, but as at one point or another, they will need Lorlo to fight in these 5v5s or 4v5s. So Surdy definitely going to be one of the ways that EGP could come back in the map, as they will take the Herald for themselves.
Yeah, this right here feels a little weird for Dignitas. They had priority onto this Rift Herald, but immediately EGP, they're the first ones to start it, and then since they're the first ones on the play, Dignitas back up. They have vision of it the entire time, just looking to trade on the bot side. They're waiting. There's a potential engage here. They have the Rift Herald coming down. EGP sensed the urgency. They need to find something, but with JJ on the flank, they're just waited from going on anything. Lorlo's here.
Yeah, he's actually already popped his Everfrost. Doesn't get a tag into, but he pushes Tomio back. T5, but like to the back right here, JJ's being slowed down by 3 different people. Also wins the war, but not going to be able to get any of them, as Yasui too left a little bit alone. But EG looking for his mid tower.
The correct push and pull here for EGP. They summon the Rift Herald, and because they back off, Dignitas Academy, it felt like some of them were on different calls. They'll also be able to get the Drake, so oh man, this is beautiful to watch. 2 games in a row now, one team has been able to get the Drake and the Herald at the same time, and now EGP will replicate that. But you saw there in that last fight, Yasui is trying to kill the Rift Herald, trying to make sure it doesn't break open this mid turret, recognizing how important it is they need this tier 1 for. And the entire time, Lorlo's really far into the back line. There are 0 kills, a few summoner spells used, but I mean, that is TP advantage now for Surdy.
A little bit split plays coming in for EGP and Dignitas too. I was afraid for a little bit for Lorlo, considering he had 2 people in front of him. Besides that, he's fine. But as Aspect will focus in on and forces out the flash.
Interesting. So, I mean, that's just Aspect now no longer going to be having flash. Tomio is here. They're going to look to make this play onto Lorlo. No Hextech ultimatum, but the sleep from Tomio available.
They immediately smite him down to slow him, and they force the flash as well.
Oh my god.
Everfrost at the back will stave them away. Alright, so flash is blown across the board, and yet again, they knew it was down. The Aspect just, yeah, bye.
Aspect, no, buddy, you don't have flash. You hate to see it. Good punish coming out from Dignitas saying, well, she's too far up. Ability, I mean, Everfrost is really good. It comes up every 10 seconds. That's nice. I'll just stun you in the lane, and now you can't move. So cool. You traded the flash for a 10-second cooldown. It's just right there. Aspect goes down, and they're able to punish it on the side of Dignitas, able to at least control a little bit more of this top side. and the entire time they're going to lose some gold, they're going to lose some experience, but EGP, they're indexing on this mid lane. They want to break down this turret as soon as possible, and they'll get that for their AD carry.
Yeah, just like that, the EGP finally finding a bit more agency that they wanted across the map, right? Because at least with that first pick falling for them, they're actually ahead in towers, the B2, which is quite nice. For them against Dignitas. It got to be a much more different scene that we saw in the previous game, where Dignitas was able to just run over almost every single objective EGP presented in front of them. Remember, they want to be more aggressive. They're being more forward-facing, and Dignitas is not backing down from a challenge. They're looking for much more proactive team fights and plays, as I believe with this, they will likely get the second tower of the game, matching EGP.
I don't typically, you know, as a side note here, as Lorlo slowly one day it kills this minion. There we go. And maybe Surdy tries to fight him under the turret, trying to stop this. The turret will still go down, but Surdy,
a lot of damage and a solo kill for Surdy. Bots that although they get the tower, they get Lorlo's life worth.
Okay, cool, awesome. They made a trade. I'm sure Lorlo is like, okay, guys, I got the turret's worth, guys. And the entire time, with no top laner here, EGP in complete darkness are going to start up the Baron. The Kai'Sa Preyseeker missile will go out. They'll see them doing this Baron. It is at 6,000 gold. Take a look. Surdy still has TP. Yasui's on the flank and no vision on the Ahri. This is dangerous for them.
Everfrost landed onto his charred up as well. Shiro's just gonna be soloed down. He's dead. Look at the backline. Now, there's just so much damage. Gideon blows up another. The hero's entrance will do nothing. As Spot, as he dies, will take 2 more lives. Shut down at the back, though. Surdy comes in for the help for his teammates. But it's just too little too late. As Tomio has to prance out, and Baron will be Dignitas.
Oh my god. Okay, Tomio is still here, but Gragas should know. They'll also have vision of this. Tomio, you're going down, buddy. He has to use the flash to try and get out. The Baron potentially, he's playing Lilia. He's just trying to be as much of a nuisance. Probably just going to push it out. And actually, Dissuade's taking too much damage on the side of Dignitas. They don't have Kai'Sa here, so they're not able to finish the Baron. EGP, they are, I mean, the most important part of this team fight is it goes so fast. Look at where Aspect and what happens with Shiro. They're not able to use their ultimates. Aspect Shockwave still available. You have the Shiro's ultimate still up, and because they don't have all this vision allowing them to see Yasui come in from a flank and, you know, just trying to call for a numbers disadvantage, EGP end up falling. They lose a ton, and the entire time what was originally their play to start ends up being in 4 kills for Dignitas.
Really well done by Dignitas, right? Because it looked a little bit back and forth, but EGP being a bit more heads up on the play. But now that we're looking at it, right, the game I find has gone back to a little bit more of an even state, because where honestly just one more team fight could definitely just swing the favor into either team's court. Considering Dragon is up in just another 15 seconds, Dimitri, and for EGP, this will be soul point, and getting an Earthstrike 2 will only cement their prowess on knocking down more and more towers outside of Dignitas to open the map even more so.
Yeah, a Mountain Soul would actually be a really sick win condition for Evil Genius's Prodigies. As JJ's on a flank, they might be going for this. Yasui's waiting for a teleport flank here, calling it in right now. It's 3,000, 2,000 on this. They might have it to the Drake.
It's almost there, and Acadian steals the dragon. But now, how will the fight go forward? There's a little lower in the back, there's a lot of damage too. But Surdy's able to hero's entrance, Spawn enters into, sees all the low health bars, and wants to take advantage. The killer is instinct, and he's revitalized immediately. As you see, we go a lot before forward, pops the Everfrost, but not able to fight anymore, as EGP have to run away.
Yeah, 2 kills right there. Surdy and Mist are trying to go on to Lorlo, but a great stopwatch and an amazing killer instinct from Spawn means that they're able to find this. Spawn not able to go quite in on his 80 carry counterpart this time around, but a fantastic job. They might even be trying to hunt them out of the top side. Pings are coming out. They're going to try and corral them into the top side, find the kill. Acadian can try to do this, try to find this onto Shiro. W flash, here we go. TP.
Knock up 2.
Oh my god.
Tree's just gone. Okay. Never mind flash knock up to JJ with a beautiful setup at Lolo at the back. Gonna pop the cast just for style points and take the kill for himself as Dignitas will get the Baron.
Yeah, and that is just the strength of the Mira Mana Kayn. The shock damage that you do on this champion from the passive is so good. It's so disgusting. And also, I love the use of the Umbral Glaive, trying to get as much vision denial for Kayn as possible. Love that as an itemization choice for him. And now, Dignitas very firmly in the lead. They'll be able to get this Baron. They're going to reset, come back onto the map strong. And the saving grace for EGP right now is this mid-tier 1. It's going to stop a lot of their push. They're going to waste a lot of time on this Baron as they try to break down as many turrets as possible on the side of Dignitas. But time and time again, the fights are going in their favor. EGP backs against the wall. We finally got to see an aspect Shockwave, and it landed onto 2. And I think that fight was actually a lot closer than maybe it should have been for Dignitas. They're looking on the Surdy. Oh yeah. No. Okay, so they will see that the vision ward gets toggled down. Surdy's like, all right, I'm leaving. I can't be here. I'm gonna die. And if I die right now, it's death for my teammates. But because of the outer lanes being taken, this mid-tier 1 is a potential death sentence. JJ propping up the Hex Flash.
Yep, and he even puts a shockwave out at the end, but it will do no good. We were talking about Acadian, right? We were saying on this Kayn, if he gets ahead and gets blue form, he will be able to pop the health bars of EGP. And once that dream has come revitalized, the Dig being able to execute on even more of the win conditions as they will be able to get the bottom inhibitor for EGP. Now, Dimitri, this is looking grim for them.
This is looking grim. However, Shiro is split pushing right now. This is a time for them to go in. They find it on to Tomio.
He's already gone, and now JJ left the gold under tower to pops the Everfrost, can stun up 2 people, but Shiro might be able to find one at least to get back JJ. So a little bit of cutting their losses. Surdy looking for an engage. Pops in, gets not Cadian. There's a lot of damage, but it doesn't matter. Umbral Trespass will put him back to the base, right where he came.
Shockwave
bouncing in and out of the fight. The Shockwave does a little bit. But Shiro too. Bouncing in and out of the fight, putting us so much
Shiro!
damage. Not being able to film, and pops another member too, trying to save this game, and he saves the base of EGP. You live to see another day.
The rising star of EGP saved them a few minutes in this game versus Dignitas. Loser will go down to the losers bracket and will be facing off against FlyQuest Academy, who are waiting for them next week. But EGP just barely able to stay in this game as Shiro puts on his carry pants the entire time. Look at this defense. Okay, so for Dignitas Academy, they're saying, okay, we can take this turret. We have a wave coming in, and all the while they see Shiro top lane. They're like, okay, this is an uneven fight. If he doesn't go for the back right now, we might be able to end the game. EGP, they stand their ground and watch where some of the members are. They go immediately onto Tomio, taking him out from the fight. Missed, not quite here, and tick, tick, tick. Here comes Hero. They're trying to stop them under this turret. Quite a little bit of a mistimed Galio stops them, but that first kill onto JJ starts to get a little bit dangerous for them. This miss onto Acadian, so dangerous as Shiro just makes a huge comeback play, consistently putting them around this wall, just playing so expertly around the terrain with this Callista, trying to manipulate this, flashes around Acadian. And just, I mean, again, I don't know how many times I can repeat myself, but Shiro, man, this guy's completely nuts.
We said it before, we're setting up for the game, man, bro. What a fantastic ADC in his first year of playing competitive. Nonetheless, Dimitri, we've shown just how much of a staple he's been for the team of EGP, just keeping them alive barely. And like, you can see he was like bobbing, we were like back in between the base too. But now, at least with this though, Spawn will be able to respond, get soul point here for Dignitas. So the fantastic win condition possibly just slipped away from EGP, but you can see that they still have a lot of life in them. But Dignitas maintain a 9k goal lead, Dimitri.
Yeah, this is super hard for them to come back from. 9,000 gold, it gets very, very difficult, but they still have great engage tools if they want to go for fights. It's not like last game where they're kind of stuck with trying to make picks. Tomio's ultimate is still a potential win condition if they find it onto 5 members. Same thing with Surdy, but I have to think, like, Dignitas are at a pretty big lead. Acadian has a 3-level lead. He is level 16. Tomio's level 13. So a third rank in the Umbral Trespass makes it so dangerous to try and step up to this. It's going to be on Shiro and onto Surdy. Some of these members need to step up pretty big if they want to try and find themselves a Game 2 victory and keep their dreams alive in the winner's bracket.
Honestly, I find that Surdy has to be, as I go and hold off, but chimed into Mystics, a lot of damage right to the face, explosive cast, putting Surdy all the way at the back. Tower still has not fallen as of yet, because look at this. Acadian's still over on the other side of the jungle, looking for possibly any strangles, looking for his way into the fight, Dimitri, but get back and forth.
Watch missed.
Nice little tie. They put him back, so looking to possibly put him back in team fight. Lolo goes golden, and JJ
they're winning
already
this.
Down. AGP actually saving them off, but whoa, okay. Spawn goes way far in and just gets a lot of damage off too, but it's just not enough because Shiro's untouched almost at the back of the team fight. He's full health still, Dimitri. Shiro is still yet again saving EGP as they look towards Baron.
Oh my god, it's happening. And ladies and gentlemen, we might be seeing the comeback. Don't call it a comeback for the kids on EGP. They are potentially finding the victory from the jaws of defeat. 9,000 gold was the total, but now after a really great win, they're able to bait out the Lorlo ultimate, get the explosive cask, and that re-engage under the turret. Dignitas are not able to find the damage. A lot of this is inside Acadian's kit to be able to blow at the backline. They're calling for TPs. This might just be their Baron. They're going to make their mark here.
Acadian is not up yet, and although they have vision, so Dig see this, they have to go for a possible steal. Spawn has just now come out of base. You see me also on the backside looking for possibly what they can do. As Baron is going down fast, Demetrius Sturdy goes in immediately.
Oh my god.
To stave them off. The Baron is there at EGP looking for Reese's, but they get the Baron. This is insane.
They're getting away with it. They're also able to get completely out of dodge. They lose no members. A fantastic call from Surdy. He calls in the TP. He then uses the ultimate to keep 5 members of Dignitas trapped and not able to get to the Baron. And now this game has gotten way closer than I think Dignitas would be comfortable with, as now they find themselves, they're still in the lead. I want to say that EGP still have some of the base for Dignitas to get through, but with this Baron, it should be easy to start to knock down some turrets. There are some open inhibitors on the side of Dignitas, and it's going to take, Acadian getting into that backline, blowing up some of the squishier members, looking at Shiro and Aspect to get rid of them first. A minute and a half before this Drake, I have to think that this Drake is going to be, maybe not game breaking, but it's either the soul point here for EGP or, the Mountain Soul for Dignitas.
Dignitas have to look for this too, because getting the Mountain Soul would be a fantastic way back in the game, but let's pay attention to Yasui here. Gets spotted out by the ward, looking for a possible flank to shut down the push coming in from EGP. This Baron push is super solid as they look at this, run it down mid. Acadian is well spotted out. So looking to go onto him, though. Surdy's committing to this. A lot of damage already in. He goes gold and Umbral Trespass will not
he's dead.
be a factor. Acadian is gone. That's a huge pick. So now so many of the squishy members of EGP will not be able to stay alive with the fear of death, Dimitri.
Yeah, and that is the dragon immediately right there. That is 30 seconds. A death timer of 45 for Acadian means that with this Baron, they'll continue to push. Surdy taking a back timer. You see Yasui is just trying to cut off the wave, but calls in the recall. They have to try and defend their base. EGP finally scale later into this game after an incredibly dominant early game from Dignitas. They're looking to try and make their stamp. Dignitas still have a few options. They're not quite out of this game. Kaisa is 4 items, looking to also get the GA with that last stopwatch. And you look at Yasui, 3 items, has a Cosmic Drive as well as 12 pages in the Magi's. This is just another, this will put them on soul point for EGP. But this is a 7 Drake game, a double Baron series, and now EGP with their final Baron recall will get back onto the map, get their last couple of items, and start to prep for what feels like we're brewing up towards the end of this game.
The penultimate team fight between both of these teams, Dimitri, is upon us. Baron is up in 3 minutes. Dragon the final one to solve for both these teams at 4:30. But I do not think we'll be waiting long for that long, right? Because
Is it penultimate? I'm trying to. If I'm correct, I could be wrong. I'm not very good with dictionaries, but penultimate is the one before the last one.
Ooh, you're right. English is my fourth language, so I apologize.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Weird flex. Okay. Look, look. I'll correct you on that. But EGP, they're trying to march onto the base. You see that this is happening, but JJ's on a flank here. They're gonna go for anything. They need to do it now. Watch for Tomio's and watch Shiro.
Oh, like you mentioned, Lorlo with the back here, JJ not with the knock aggressive yet. They get the inhibitor, but JJ's in the middle of the team fight. Heroes enters Papa, look at starting in the back line. He does so much damage to spawn, and Shiro's still at the back line, still untouched, Dimitri, as he's able to put out so much damage, but it doesn't even matter because Surdy is carrying through all of Dig's health bars. The blade legs will cut through, and Dignitas will likely fall. This is the game for EGP. They bring it back.
Oh my god, Shiro, he's my hero. JJ finding an engage, potentially from a Dignitas.
But still looking at the back, trying to save this game. It's a double kill, but it does not matter. As you mentioned, your hero will die, but Surdy will save the day. Yasui on the R, you can only do so much, but watch her base fall. One more auto, still gets a shutdown, but EGP tie it up.
Yasui ends that game 4-0-13. He has 20 pages of Magi's. That game started off with Surdy dying so early. And, I mean, you have the Kayn matchup. They were knocking on the Nexus stores there. But EGP, they get the victory back for themselves, and that, my friend, is how you come back from 9,000 gold. Congratulations to Evil Genius's Prodigies, holding on in this series, taking us all the way to Game 3. Man, Ravish, that should have been a closed book there for Dignitas.
That was amazing, bro. And I always say the 10K goal is the point of no return.
Yes.
So EGP just making sure that they're just a bit off that mark. And yet again, we have to give up so much props to Shiro. While the Nexus doors were being knocked upon, the door was looking to be open. FBI was there with the battering ram, but Shiro maintained calm, bobbed and weaved around the entire team fight, and those Rens took Dignitas back to the base. Now going into this game number 3, early control or not, you can't let EGP scale the lane.
Yeah, you cannot let this. I mean, at this point now we're adding another tally mark, so that's 6-3 for Surdy's Camille. Awesome, already having that 66% win rate. But again, Surdy, I want to say, like, it was all Shiro, yes, in the team fights, but I mean, his control in the backline, I think his team fight sense was really keen this game. Just constantly finding those backlines, trying to go in with the hook shots, and then obviously stopping the backline from being able to do what they want. So I really loved what we saw from both of these players in this game, and EGP holding on. They want to continue on in the winners bracket and face off against whoever is on the other side versus C9 and EG Academy. Potentially another civil war on our hands. Wait till we get there. But a fantastic game, and I'm excited for Game 3.
No, with that being said, Game 3 is not going to be one you want to miss. We'll cut it to a short break, and when we come back, we'll have the final game of the series between EG and Dignitas. See you there.